Race to the Top was a grant competition that the U.S. Department of Education ran last year, and their name came from President Obama and Secretary Duncan's concern about how our students are doing in school compared to students from around the world. And when we look at a number of different indicators, the United States, while we're not necessarily doing worse than we used to do in terms of performance, we haven't increased the way that other countries have increased around the world. And that's everything from academic achievement to the number and the percentage of high school graduates to the percentage of college graduates. So countries around the world, including countries that historically did not have as many students completing secondary education, high school, or completing post-secondary education like college and technical schools, are increasing dramatically the number of graduates of those levels of education. And so countries like India and China, for example, who have obviously very large populations, and their percentages of their citizens who are achieving it at higher academic levels has increased dramatically. And since we're staying the same, then it's just a concern that they have for our country's economy. And then obviously here in Rhode Island, we have those same concerns. And we have concerns about the quality of education because it affects your quality of life, and it affects the quality of life for your children, and it affects their future success. And then in total, it affects our state's economy, which obviously is all very cyclical, so it's all very related. So that's where the race to the top came from, because they said, there's a race happening globally, and it's a race to see who's going to have the best quality education. We used to have an education system that was the top in the world, and now on a number of different measures, we're 25th, 26th, 21st in one case, behind many, many other countries. So that's where the name came from President Obama and Secretary Duncan creating this grant competition. And so what our involvement in that came from, we put together a strategic plan last year called Transforming Education in Rhode Island. And it is our state's plan for how we're going to significantly improve our education system. And we developed this plan over many, many months. We were out all across the state. There were thousands of people involved in one way or another with informing that plan. There were community forums and parent events like this, and I had small discussions with students, with teachers, with parents, with elected officials, with business leaders, faith-based leaders, every group of stakeholders all across the state that we pulled together. So we developed that strategic plan, and then we created an application, a grant application, that is completely consistent with that plan. So it's not something separate. What it's going to do is it's going to help us fund that plan and get that plan off the ground. And it's giving us the resources to be able to get that plan off the ground. So there were only 12 states in the country that won a grant, and we were one of them. So yay, little Rhode Island. We're very excited about it. It is the largest competitive grant that the state has ever received. And so it's a nice resource for us to have. It's only for 4 years, so it isn't something we can rely upon, but we can rely upon it in order to make the changes that we need to make so that we can then keep our quality education system going forward after the grant goes away. So that's the general overview of the race.